If you don't know, Ethan Klein, after October 7th, there was just a lot of drama surrounding his reaction to that and some of the things that he said. Um, Honestly, he just offered a bit of a nuanced view, and the response to it was utterly unhinged. I have never seen it was the most disgusting and vile response that I've seen from leftists on something in quite a while, and that is saying a lot. Yeah, I mean, it was utterly unhinged. So, which I think caused Ethan to shut down and not talk about it at all anymore, and it ended his and Hassan's show that they did together. Um, but yeah, so let's get into recent updates in that.
Whatever that word is. Didn't she have some recent drama too?
Hold on. Why are people mad at me? I want someone, please, to explain it. Explain why you're mad at me. Go ahead. I'm dying. Please.
Are people mad?
They're mad about my comments about Aaron Bushnell on the See You Next Tuesday. My point was this. I think you should be careful about how you romanticize suicide because it's going to encourage more people to do it. That was my take. And that apparently enraged people. Unless I'm misunderstanding, tell me why.
That I agree with. I think that you can hold two truths in your mind at the same time. That what he did was eye-opening and disturbing, and whatever it you want to call it. But I think it's important to kind of use that to motivate for change. But at the same time, it was a suicide. And that is just not something that we should glorify or encourage. As someone myself who struggled with depression for a long time and ideations, there were times where I thought, what's something I could do while ending my life that would maybe make it worth something, or maybe make it not a total waste. And I just don't think that that is a good thing to encourage. And I think that you can make that statement without minimizing the power of that act of protest at the same time.
I'd love to know why. Because I feel like when people are angry at me, they're looking regarding this kind of stuff. They're looking for any reason. And so I feel like if you are actually articulated why you were mad at me, it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm dying. Please write it.
What I saw.
Because you made fun of him burning. Okay, dummy. I joke about all this shit every fucking day.
Tippy, sorry to hear that. Glad you're still here. Appreciate it. It was like, like 13 years ago now. I'm doing a lot better these days.
And now all of a sudden you gotta get all bitched out. Like, give me a break, dude. I wasn't even insulting him. I said the joke was that it was distasteful, and I was complimenting his resolve, frankly. And the joke was that it was a compliment in a really distasteful way.
Yeah, so the joke was he is really great at being set on fire, pretty much. Basically saying how, like, he just stood there and took it. And, yeah, I mean, bit of an edgy, distasteful joke, but that's what Ethan does, so.
That's my fucking humor. I do it here every day.
Looking for the best price on it? Kelley Blue Book Price Advisory. Does it need fixing? Kelley Blue Book service and
day. And free.
I mean, it's especially on the members, which is a little more unfiltered.
Ethan gone wild.
Unfiltered by design. It's just kind of like Ethan is there. And
no, but I would listen. I would say that joke on the podcast.
Sure.
And I joke about.
But if, especially on the members, you just kind of like shoot the shit.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's really annoying that like people just They stand by, like, just waiting for any reason to call me. And by the way, call me a Zionist, make it about how I support genocide, about all this horrible fucking shit, to call me racist. Why? Because I made one stupid, insensitive joke that.
Here's the thing about the whole response, the leftist response to Ethan, that just blows my mind, and just how vile and racist and inhumane it was. You're not helping the Palestinian people at all by putting all your energy into hating this man and his wife. The energy that went into creating a cartoon of Ela unaliving Palestinian children, just fucking psychotic. Fucking psychotic. For what? If you're a leftist and you sent hate towards them, or you still hate them that much, how the fuck are you going to function in a socialist society? How are you going to function in a democratized workplace where you have to get along with people that don't agree with you? If you can't offer constructive criticism in a non-racist, dehumanizing, psychotic way to people who are so closely aligned with you on an issue, how are you going to function in a socialist society? Tell me how. You're not. I know you're not. Because most of y'all are fucking tankies who, given the power, would just unalive people that disagree with you or don't do what you want, or throw them in re-education camps, forced labor camps. Gonna make me sick to my stomach, fam.
By the way, they didn't call his character into question. It literally was just like, he was really good, and my point was that, like, his resolve was crazy, and the thing that really struck me about that video was how he stood there.
That was my first reaction.
And I was like, wow, I didn't even think that anybody could do that. So, I mean, I don't know how to talk about that, but his resolve was incredible. And what I said was, he's really good at burning alive. And I mean that as the most sincere compliment possible. He really is.
And it's obviously also a really dark, like, humoristic way to look
But
at
then,
it.
so how are you going to take that and call me a racist, a genocidal, a monster? I mean, if you're coming at me with those kinds of takes, you are ensuring peace will never happen, because you can't even have you can't even have any kind of dialogue.
This is true. Like, the way that you guys are so attached to a certain way of thinking, and certain words have to be used, and you can't deviate from that, shuts down all kinds of people who care about the situation and who are offering serious solutions going forward. And you lose, like, nuance in the situation. And it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the Palestinian people.
Where everybody isn't walking totally aligned with you. I never said a single bad thing about that man. Other than the compliment, not even the compliment, because it's weird to say, but his resolve is nuts. His resolve was really remarkable. That's what I said. And that's what the joke was. If you can't deal with it, then, you're a fucking hypocrite, because I make these jokes about all different topics, about all different sensitive things, about all different groups of people, every fucking show. And then when it lightly brushes on your...
I understand Ethan's, I guess, anger at all this. My only real criticism of it was some of how he responded to people, especially more public figures, I think was a little unhinged and uncalled for, but also kind of not at the same time. But, like, Ethan had good points and good things to say about the situation, and y'all made him just totally shut down and not want to talk about it at all. I mean, good for y'all, I guess. Good for y'all. You did it. Hooray.
shoulder, you freak the fuck out, and you bitch and you cry and you go and you try to find any reason to, you know what I mean, to get angry. Give me a fucking break. Look in the mirror, loser. You're the problem. You are the problem. You are. I can't even have any. Nobody can have any nuanced conversation about this. That's the problem. You know what I mean? So extreme. It really pisses me off because I never said a damn bad thing about that guy. And that's why I says when you need to explain your reason for calling me a racist, calling me a genocidal, a Zionist, which, by the way, Zionist is just another slur for Jew, being a Jew. You know how many people now calling fucking every Jew a Zionist?
Yeah, the left is just utterly unhinged at this point. Like, everybody who slightly disagrees with them is a Fed or a Zionist, or, like, I swear to God, the atrocities that y'all could be convinced to support and commit is just way too fucking easy.
It's like, okay, just call me a Jew and get it fucking over with. Call me the K word. At least I'll know what you mean. It's just the truth. Not everybody, not all the time. But a lot of times, let's not fucking pretend that anti-Semitism isn't a fucking massive inferno of acceptable behavior right now on the left and the right. Nazis and leftists are dabbing the fuck up, saying fuck Zionists, you know? And, you know...
That horseshoe on this issue is shockingly close. It is.
Again, it's driving me insane. I gotta fucking talk about it. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like there's just not a tidal wave of anti-Semitism gobbling up the entire discourse. It's fucking disgusting, man. And I'm doing, as an Israeli dual citizen, as someone who's deeply invested in the state of Israel, who's probably more sympathetic to the Israeli perspective than most people would be, I've tried so hard to pull myself to some kind of central ground where we can have a real conversation about this stuff. I'm pulled myself all the way to, you know, outright saying that it's apartheid, that it's genocide, that the Israeli...
Oh, and another fucking thing. Tell me why Hassan is bitching about people not coming, throwing him a life raft, people not defending him against their chats, when he just sat there and let his chat and his moderators call him the most racist fucking shit and dehumanize him so much. But it's like, well, it's I can't really do anything about it. And then whines like a fucking baby when people don't suck him off over his stupid ass opinions.
Government is committing. And so, but you still want to call me a racist and a genocide and a Zionist. Why would you call me a Zionist if it wasn't just, oh, you're a fucking Jew? When I have said,
like, why do we have to do this? Like, name call like this, like, you're not helping anybody. Articulate some sort of proposition as to how he's a Zionist or what he is saying that is Zionism. Because saying it's sad that Israeli babies died is not Zionism. Okay? It's not.
All the things that you want to hear from me. I want to meet you right in the fucking middle and you still spit in my face. So give me a fucking break. Who's the problem? Scumbag. Scumbag. And you know what? I don't want to call out this because I'm going to say this because it pissed me the fuck off. And being an anti-Semite openly and proudly is now likes on Twitter. Frogan, she tweeted out, she goes, I have a problem with my Zionist therapist. Just call him a fucking Jew. I'm sorry, but you can't talk like that about any other fucking minority. I had a problem with my Zionist therapist. What you taught your Zionist therapist? Did you get those level of details from them? You had an in-depth conversation about the politics of Zionism with your therapist? No, I know what you mean. You mean fucking Jew. You know, I'm not going to sit here and let my fucking people, you know.
Regardless of how, regardless of whether he's right or not, like, just being in the room when somebody's popping off like this is so fucking awkward. I know Eliz wants to move on.
No, be openly bigoted and racist. Fuck that shit. Nobody would expect that from any other minority. Nobody. It's disgusting. It is. And I'm here. I'm with you. I'm on your side all the fucking way. I'm on your side as much as I possibly can be. And instead of, holding hands and having a real conversation, you spit in my fucking face and you call me a Zionist. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. People get angry about what I said. That pisses me off. It's fucking absurd.
Think about poor Shetty. We've been making so much fun of the guy until
Just
now.
trying
We
to
didn't
change
even
the
have a
subject
reason
so
to.
quickly.
Like now, at least there's a reason. But the poor guy, there's been a war.
Excuse me.
There's been a war for no reason with the guy.
Nobody's defending Jay.
We're calling
It's
his
a little
eye
different.
collar fake,
Yeah.
and
But-
that's okay.
No, but I make fun
But-
of all
but,
different
like-
groups of people. And the thing is, again, if you look
that-
at my joke wasn't like, oh, look at this idiot. What a fucking
No,
idiot
it's
dying for a
not.
dumb cause. That wasn't what I said at all.
I
And
don't
the-
think people were upset with the joke. I think it was that what I saw some people saying is that you were looking at it from like an all lives matter type view
What did I say that was all lives matter?
by ignoring what his cause was rather than.
How did I ignore his cause?
Well, I'm just giving you what they were saying.
Well,
was
I just
that
want to know because people keep trying to
because
say
you're
this
because you were
shit.
talking about suicide.
Yeah.
And
I said
ign-
suicide isn't good and people shouldn't
Right.
glamorize
Yeah,
it.
and they were upset that you. Were
And by the way, let me
focusing on
clarify.
suicide
If
rather
it
than
seems like
the
I'm angry
genocide.
at AB, I'm not. I'm fired up.
Yeah,
I love AB, and
Yes.
I appreciate that because I'm desperate to understand the perspective. So I appreciate that you're conveying it to me. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, that's it. Just that you were focusing on the suicide aspect rather than the genocide.
The H3 Snark Reddit is gonna have I'm banned from there, so I don't even know what is being said. That place is so fucking toxic, but they're gonna have a field day with this.
Well,
Of
yeah, the
what he
reason
was
for that
protesting.
being is that was the part that, again, I've gone out and I've said that everything y'all want to hear about there being a genocide and apartheid and the fucking warmongering Israeli government and all that fucking shit, okay? What I'm seeing on social media is not people saying it's not about genocide or whatever. What I'm seeing is tons of people glamorizing, romanticizing a man taking his own life. And I thought that was that's a dangerous thing to skirt down. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't say a
Just-
bad thing about the guy.
It just feels wrong to, like Ethan said, to glamorize something like that because that's just a dangerous idea.
That's my point. And I feel like that's that's at least, even if you disagree, a good place to have a conversation.
And it's not really about what he was protesting at all.
Again, I complimented his
Yeah, I mean, like you just have to be able to have that conversation and hold those two truths in your mind. Because it's really weird that leftists or liberals or whoever is praising this, and it's like I don't know. They don't want to talk about the mental health aspect of it at all, as if that would somehow diminish the power of the protest. It wouldn't. You can't be mentally well and do that. As someone who has tried to end his life myself, as someone who has ideated a lot in my life, I don't care and they talk about the premeditation aspect of it. Means that he wasn't mentally ill. And maybe he wasn't, but you're just not mentally well and decide to do that. Even if it was just the anguish and the desperation of the situation in Palestine and his complicity in it. he was still unwell. I planned my unaliving attempt for over a year. I thought about it all the time. Doing it in a flippant moment is not what makes it a mental health issue or crisis. And it's not about diminishing what he did. It's about what glorifying it portrays to the greater crowd, especially people who have a large audience. Yeah, I don't know.
Resolve as a person, you know what I mean? But that's my problem, is that people, they're watching with the expectation, they're looking for any little nugget to get indignant over, and to call me a Zionist.
Mm-hmm.
If you call me a Zionist, you're anti-Semite. You know why? Because I'm not a fucking Zionist, and I've made that exactly, profoundly, deeply clear. So when you see someone on Twitter, when you see someone in the audience calling me a Zionist, what they're calling me is a fucking Jew. Because that's the only goddamn thing that means at that point.
Right. And I feel like
I promise you, if Ethan was a Zionist, like the crew, I'm sure they have disagreements, probably, but the crew would not be working with him if they thought that he was a Zionist, because we know a lot of the crew members' position on things. We do.
anyone who's a fan of you should know like how you talk. Like they should I don't know how it's not clear that that's
And AB would not be defending him at all.
not what you were saying. That should, from the joke aspect too, that you're just making a joke, but
I
Yeah.
mean, that video is shocking and mind blowing, and
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
it brings a reaction out of you, and so it's not that weird to comment about the video.
I see people saying this too. No one is glamorizing it. Dude, I don't know what world you're living in. If you don't see that, I don't know what to say. Like, people are literally glamorizing it. I've seen images of him on fire being like, free Palestine. And they're turning him into a cultural, they're trying to turn him into a cultural icon. And what
They're turning him into a meme, honestly. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's something disturbing and ominous about how quickly I don't know.
whether you agree with that or not, and not to comment on his cause, which is, I said, again, is just, and I understand, and his resolve is incredible. But I do think that, trying to ignore the fact that the man killed himself, and that there's probably not some mental health issues at play here, is remarkably, what's the word? It's like reactionary. It's what it is, which is why it remarks me as so fucking odd that this is coming from the left. They're exhibiting really reactionary traits when they're saying like it's not suicide. Because this is the way I explained it, and I think this is good. When you watch the video, he's pulling the gasoline on himself, and he's a fucking icon. Okay, good. You can believe that. I'm just trying to have a conversation about it. If somebody came and stopped him, there was guards and like, excuse me, what are you doing, sir? Right before he, lit himself on fire. If someone was able to tackle him and prevent him from lighting himself on fire before he did, and, get him some mental health evaluation and get him some help and stuff, clearly he's in a vulnerable point in his life.
Yeah, I just don't. There was so much more activism that he could have done throughout his life to make positive change. In my mind, if he did the exact same thing, but just like lit a American flag or an Israeli flag on fire, I feel like he would have gotten just as much media coverage. I feel like he would have been made just as much of an icon and still would have been around to continue being an activist.
Can at least say that. Now, in 10 years from now, do you think he's going to look back and say, I wish I burned alive? Or do you think he'll say, I'm so grateful that I was stopped from doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and by the way, this man has friends, he has family, he has people that are going to be deeply affected by his suicide. And again, there's this magical thinking that it's not a suicide. That's just so weird. It's not a suicide until it, we don't believe in suicide and we're pro mental health unless it's for a good cause. Then, then go for it.
Yeah, I saw a meme that was like a Futurama meme about doing a flip, and it's basically the guy like on top of the building saying, I'm going to jump, and everybody says, no, no. He says, for Palestine, and they say, do a flip. And that's, I mean, that's like exactly what is happening right now.
You hear this all the time from survivors of suicide attempts, that they have a moment of clarity that ultimately they're like, realize, I don't know if he went through that. I mean, again, his resolve was pretty apparent. But in 10 years from now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, after surviving my attempt, I promised myself that would never be an option ever again, no matter what. And yeah.
That he's more likely to say, I'm glad I'm alive and that I was stopped than not. That's my opinion. And so we need to, I don't want other people to go do that because they're inspired by him. That's my opinion, And
I agree. It doesn't, it's not going to do anything. I think there's a place to talk about it as a form of protest in a different context maybe, or different situations. But this just isn't it, I don't think.
But you think it's glamorizing because he's not your hero, not your martyr, not your...
And I talk about it as like what would be acceptable or honorific, I guess.
Symbol. Shadowing it in mental health is the same move as transphobes. What the fuck? Charlie, can you... this is another comment I saw. They go, if it was someone burning themselves alive for Israel, you would be saying the same thing. Are you crazy? That would be even crazier if someone...
What a fucking delusional take. Like that, you're so disconnected from reality if that's what you think.
It's like, I'm burning myself alive for Israel. Would you be saying the same thing? Would you be like, I disagree, but I respect it? Fuck no, you'd be tap dancing on his corpse. You'd be pissing the fire out on his body. Give me a break. And you know what?
Yeah, the selective empathy that they are projecting onto Ethan is entirely their own.
I would think that was crazy. I think that's bananas. You know what I mean? So no, I don't understand what you're saying. And the fact that you can't even meet me half...
Seems obvious that that's not what we would think. I don't know.
But anyway, I know what the conclusion of this conversation is going to be. It's going to be that Ethan's a Zionist. Ethan is an Israeli shill. Ethan is Islamophobic. All this types of shit that you fucking see about anybody who doesn't toe the line precisely as you want it. Not even disagreeing, frankly, just trying to have a conversation. So, in short, suck my fucking dick. How about that? Fuck you. Fuck you people. Go somewhere else. Like, seriously, if you're that sensitive that I want to take mental health seriously, something that I've been deeply that I've spoke out against in my whole career. I've spoken out. It's made it one of the things that defines me as a person. Okay, if you can't tolerate a conversation in good faith, then you need to go the fuck away and go to a community that is going to just tell you everything you want to hear all the time and never make you feel uncomfy. There's plenty of them out there. Go. Don't fucking be here where I'm just trying, for the most part, and that's what I was trying to do. And that's what I do in every serious situation. I try to make levity of a serious situation. I do it every time. And if you're a fan of this word, this show, you know it. I almost take it as a challenge when we're talking about something heavy, something horrible. When I get a donation, I try to make a levity. I try to make a joke about it. That's what I did. So you're a fake fucking fan. Fuck you. Get lost. I'm sick of it. Yeah, and if you want to call me a Zionist, just call me the fucking K word to my.
And like the amount of tone policing that goes on with these fucking leftists is like, while they are calling him slurs and a racist and a Zionist, is so rich.
Face. Have some balls. Just call me a Jew, scumbag. Fuck you. Name another a minority that everyone would just stand by gleefully and silently. I saw this TikTok that blew my fucking mind. This girl, she's on a train in New York, and she's like,
I feel like Ethan Doge is just shooting himself in the foot every time he talks about this. Like it's not gonna get anywhere, but I guess you gotta blow off steam somehow.
I saw these Orthodox Jews on the train, and the first thing I thought was, are they Zionists? Get the fuck away from me. I'm like, bitch, you hate Jewish people. And that had like 160,000 likes on TikTok.
Wow.
So what am I supposed to think as a Jewish person when this is a celebrated opinion, to be on a train with Jewish people and your first thought is, get the fuck away from me, without knowing a single thing about them, without talking about them? That's anti-Semitism. I'm sorry to fucking spell it out.
Yeah, people don't realize how little religion actually plays into Zionism, into what is happening right now. Hardly any at all. It's used as like a front and as a rallying point, but it's not. And the Orthodox Jewish people are not. They are peaceful, kind, loving people.
You know, and it's sickening. And you don't, and you know, so many of you just don't care. Because, you know, horrible things are happening in Gaza, which is true, and which I've voiced repeatedly. Yeah, people are saying move on. Listen, I got to get this off my chest. It's truly, truly, truly remarkable. She was a Jew too. Yeah, Jews can be anti-Semitic also. She was a fucking spreading anti-Semitic psychotic shit. I don't give a fuck if she was a Jew. Would you say the same thing to another minority? Like a black person on a train is like, get away from me, black people. Would you say, oh, he's black, he can say that? That's fine. No, Jews can be anti-Semitic. Jews can also be fucking hateful. I don't care that she was Jewish. It doesn't make it better. Do you think the 160,000 people liking her video were all like, oh, you know, we're all Jewish. We get.
It's really reminiscent of how conservatives treated Muslims after 9/11.
Get it, you know? No. I don't fucking care that she's Jewish. She's crazed. Doesn't matter. You know? Just don't give a fuck. She has absolutely expressed anti-Semitic views. Dude, she literally said, get away from me, to a group. That's the definition of racism. If that's not it, then nothing, it doesn't exist in this world. She looked at people of a specific identity and said, get the fuck away from me, without knowing a single goddamn thing about them. I don't give a fuck that she's Jewish. Yeah, is Ollie London not homophobic because he's gay? You know what I'm saying? Is Blair White not transphobic because she's trans? None of you would agree to that. So why are you expressing such dumb fucking thoughts in my chat? Why? Why? Is Blair White transphobic? Answer that question. And then don't fucking express such moronic shit to me, please. It's embarrassing. Chestnuts. Play chestnuts, Zach. Please. Zionism isn't a race. Judaism is a fucking ethnicity, you idiot. Stop trying to carve out circles for you to be a fucking hateful, bigoted bitch. Fuck you. How about that, scumbag? Go ahead, play the chestnuts. Hurry. Thank you. That's the only thing that's going to save me. And you know what? I lose fans. I lose subs. I lose memberships every time I say this. And I don't... I got to stand on my principles, man. And what is it I'm even saying? Let's think about it. I'm fully in support of the people of Gaza. I'm with all of them. I'm with all you guys. My take was, let's be a little thoughtful of Jewish people, and also let's also be mindful that suicide is bad and contagious. Suicide is contagious. You guys know that? That's a phenomenon.
I didn't know that.
It is. When Kurt what's this Nirvana guy's name?
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain killed himself. There was like tons of people who killed themselves right
Really?
afterwards. Yeah. that's you know what I mean?
That is a real thing to consider. I mean, like, you just have to be mindful about how you're talking about this. And to do that doesn't take away from the active protest of Aaron Bushnell.
I mean, keep the chestnuts going. It's the only thing that's going to pull me out of this. If you have any other ones too, just keep them running. That's what I need. Charlie's got more to say. My partner is Jewish, and they're going through a tough time as well. We talk a lot about the war. Oh, the El Salvadorian war and the stark similarities. What is happening? Yeah. Yes, Blair's a transphobe. Okay, thank you, Charlie. See, we came through to Charlie. Thank you. I love you, Charlie. That's all I want is a conversation. I don't want to be shouted out that I'm a Zionist. For you know. And like, if I wasn't a Jew, if I wasn't Israeli, half Israeli, or what? I mean, I'm American, but I have Israeli citizenship. Would people be screaming at me that I'm a Zionist? If I was like, let's be careful about mental health and not encourage it. No. It's time to look in the mirror. You're a fucking anti-Semitic person. I know, because being racist is the worst thing in your life. It's the worst thing you can be in your world. And yet here we are, calling me a Zionist. Keep it going, man. Anouk is the only one that can save us. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to make light of a heavy, difficult topic. That's what I fucking did. So go be angry. This is your time. This is your chance. Go be angry. Go to Twitter. Be with your people. Now.
And that's all you guys fucking do. It's just circle jerk and be angry and direct hate towards people and not do anything productive to help Palestine or our country.
Now is your chance. You've been waiting. Celebrate. It's time to call Ethan a Zionist and a racist and a fucking genocidal freak. You can run in the pastures with your friends. Ethan's genocidal. Hold hands and skip in the daisies. Smell the beautiful air
This is
of
so
Ethan
accurate.
being a genocidal Zionist. And then when you're done, you can handle my circumcised, tiny Jewish cock delicately into your mouth. Like a miniature, what do you call those kosher hot
I aspire to be this
dogs
petty.
that everyone loves?
Hebrew National.
Like a little Hebrew national appetizer plate with a toothpick in it. That's what my dick is. And you're going to delicately put it in your mouth, and you're going to like it. Enjoy. Enjoy, everybody. Let the haters feast. I'm here for you. Let us all enjoy. It's Shabbat, after all. It's Friday. Let's feast. Let's break the challah. Let's you know what I mean? Let's have a drink. It's time to feast. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you, Zach. I'm ready to move on. Thank you. Any comments? I know people always say, I'm going to give it, if anyone wants to say anything.
Thoughts and prayers, everybody.
Thoughts or prayers, throw them up. Now's the time. Thank you. Thank you, Megan, for the gifted. Zionist. She must be a Zionist to gift me right now. Zionism. She must be a Jew. She's probably a Jew. Yeah. Thank you. And by the way,
Anouk must be a Zionist.
he's singing.
He's singing so much on this show. It's
True.
gotta be.
This one's exciting. You know, I would be so much better off not even talking about this stuff, but I can't help it. I
Yeah,
got to
true.
speak my fucking mind. That's who I am. That's what I've always been. And that's why you guys watch this show, frankly. And as far as Jews go, I'm about as un-Jewish as they come. Okay? I don't fucking care about any of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about Willy Wonka. Is Willy Wonka a Zionist? That's the real question. Was the Candyland an allegory for apartheid Israel? Probably not. Probably not. But you never know.
All right. That seems like it's it. I was watching this live and stopped it a little bit into that. I did not expect it to go that far, that long. But yeah, more Ethan Klein, Israel-Palestine drama.